Good morning, SHC. Happy Tuesday. I'm Mia Franceschi, and this is SHC Live. Our top stories for today. After a staggered reopening, all grades are back on campus in their cohorts. Green on Monday and Tuesday, and blue on Wednesday and Thursday. SHC Live took to campus to get some student reactions to coming back to school.
I'm very happy to be back on campus.
I'm excited to be back at school.
I'm happy to come back to school, because of the organization.
I'm excited to see my friends.
I'm feeling relieved to be back on campus.
I'm excited to see all my teachers at school.
I'm excited to eat lunch with my friends.
I'm excited to see my friends again at school.
I'm excited to see my friends and my teachers.
Thanks, students. We're glad you're back. Last week, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris were officially sworn into office on Wednesday. Here with a piece on Inauguration Day is Margot Hart from The Emerald.
Hey SHC, my name is Margot Hart and I'm the Assistant Editor-in-Chief of The Emerald. This week we asked SHC students about the inauguration of President Joe Biden and VP Kamala Harris. When asked what one word they would use to describe the inauguration, the most common response was relief. Senior Samir Hooker says he hopes people of color will gain confidence in seeing an African American and Asian woman as the VP of the United States. Junior Cataline Flores says the events of this year remind her that we are called to work even harder to strive for democracy. In addition to the inauguration, SHC has begun implementing its hybrid learning schedule. Freshman Isabel Rinaldi shares her perspective on school reopening in School in a Time of Pandemic. The teachers also share how they've been adapting in The Shift to Hybrid Learning, SHC's New Normal by sophomore Riley Dickman. In addition, hear how COVID-19 has affected SHC girls golf in a new article by sophomore Tiffany Chen. Be sure to check it all out on our website, shcpemerald.org. And for SHC Live in the Emerald, this is Margot Hart.
Thanks, Margot. You can catch this and more like Margot said on their website, shcpemerald.org, or on Instagram at shcpemerald. On this week's New Year, New Teacher segment, Mia Pardini sits down with Miss Jean Jones, one of our new advanced algebra, trigonometry, and pre-calculus teachers.
Hello SHC Live, this is Mia Pardini, and today I'm here with Miss Jones to talk about her teaching at SHC. So to start off, where are you from?
I was born and raised in New York City. So I lived in New York City until I was about 40 years old. And then at that point in time, I migrated to New Jersey because I had a whole gaggle of kids and we thought suburban New Jersey would be a better fit for us. And I stayed in New Jersey until just this past summer when I migrated west to San Francisco.
Oh, nice. So how long have you been teaching?
This is my 10th year teaching math. I started off my career, I worked for the New York City Mayor's Budget Office. So I did sort of numbers related work for a good number of years, but then I decided to stay home, raised a few kids, and then decided to use my love of numbers to be a math teacher instead of working in finance.
So before you started teaching 10 years ago, what exactly made you want to be a teacher out of all jobs?
It was funny. I think a lot of it had to do with raising my kids. I have 5 children, and I would spend a lot of time around the kitchen table and the dining room table, sort of helping them with their homework. And I kind of realized that I was pretty good at explaining things and helping them learn. So I decided I would sort of export that skill and become a teacher.
So when looking for high schools to teach at, what about SHC specifically interested you?
I think what attracted me most to SHC was it felt a lot like the last school that I worked in, where there was a very big and good sense of community, and also a big stress on service. So at my old high school, I did a lot of service learning work with my students, and I hope one of these days that I'll be able to do that here at SHC as well, if we ever get over this hump and back to real life.
Yeah, that's great. And now that you've been here for a semester, what would you say is your favorite thing about SHC now?
Oh, definitely my students. So I really feel like it's taken a lot longer than in a typical year to get to know them. But now that we've sort of gotten past that sort of early awkward stage and getting to know the kids is always the biggest joy of teaching.
And now that, in-person teaching is coming back very soon, what are you most excited about for that?
Oh, not having to look at a screen all the time. And then just being, it's almost impossible to develop a substantive relationship with another person when your only interface is, a little box on a computer screen. So I'm really looking forward to getting or developing deeper relationships, not only with my students, but with my colleagues. And when I moved to California, there was a little bit of a period of time where I was like, oh, do I want to continue teaching? Maybe I want to do something else. And at the end of the day, I was like, the best thing about being a teacher is having these relationships with students and colleagues. And then when I started at SHC remotely, I was very, very bummed about not being able to get that. But now I'm looking forward to it because it's kind of right around the corner.
That's wonderful. So I think we've reached the end of the interview. Thank you so much for coming.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and for SHC Live, this is Mia Pardini.
Thanks, Mia and Miss Jones. See you around. Today's LaSalle and Vincentian Words of Wisdom comes from Ethics and Human Sexuality teacher, Miss Levine.
Hi, Sacred Heart Cathedral community. I'm Mrs. Levine. I'm here to talk about ways that I have taken care of myself during the pandemic. Self-care has been a buzzword during this time, and I know that it can be overused, but it's very important to make sure we take care of ourselves. We can't give what we don't have. Ways that I make sure I take care of myself are through exercise, running, cycling, or weightlifting, making sure I get good sleep, hopefully 7 hours at least every night. I make sure I drink at least 8 glasses of water or at least 2 full water bottles, possibly 3. Water helps us circulate our blood, and it helps us to stay focused and gives us less headaches. Also, I make sure that I go outside and get fresh air every day. The sun gives us our vitamin D, and the fresh air helps us breathe better, as long as the air quality is good. And it helps us just take a break from staring at our computer. Please make sure that you take care of yourself so that you can be present to your friends and family, teachers, jobs, and coaches. And for Sacred Heart Cathedral Live, I'm Mrs. Levine.
Thank you, Miss Levine. Now for athletics. Nico Suspilla has signed a letter of intent to D'Youville College for soccer. Go Irish and go St. Bernards. That's all for week 16, and we leave you with some footage of our awesome monitors. Thank you for doing what you do. As always, we remind you to submit ideas for video segments to shclive@shcp.eu and reach out to us if you'd like to be a part of future broadcasts. I'm Mia Franceschi, and I'll see you next week. Live Jesus in our hearts forever.